It started so well, with a great job in a high-flying corporate environment. Trust me, it was prestigious. But then, I began to feel like something was missing. In spite of all that was happening around me, there was a disconnect in my life. My time, energy, and life seemed to be slipping away as my work did not resonate with my heart. I wanted something more. Then, I decided to take a leap of faith and venture into the uncharted waters of climate-smart agribusiness. We started with manufacturing, installing, and maintaining beautiful urban gardens. We can turn anywhere into a garden. Today, we run a thriving business and are called upon to teach others how it's done. Not only are we succeeding in business, but we are transforming lives through our business, and we are also environmentally friendly. Indeed, it always seems impossible until it's done.
When you hear the word environment, who do you think of? Who do you think of when you hear the word environment? Wangari. Okay. All right. Now, isn't it interesting? Without you guys knowing each other, without you guys coming to talk about it or planning, you are giving the same answers. Okay, let's try one for the road. When you hear the word terrorist, who do you think of? Come on. Who do you think of? Osama. Okay. Al-Qaeda, Osama. So the question now is, and I normally do this when we're talking of when I'm teaching on personal branding, which word is going to lead people to you? Ooh, that's an ouch moment, but just think about that now, eh? All right. So you know what we have proved? Why did we give the answers that we gave? Do you know why we gave those answers? Let me explain it. Remember when I started, I talked about patterns. When you hear 2, 4, 6, 8, you automatically know what's coming. Now, why did we all give those answers? Because we have heard those words so many times being paired together. Did you get that? We have heard them, so we've heard Bill Gates and software too many times together. We've heard Apple and Steve Jobs too many times together. We've heard terrorism and Osama bin Laden, Al-Qaeda, too many times together. We've heard Wangari Maathai and environment. We've had these things too many times together. So you know what? Your mind has already formed a sequence, a pattern. So there is that pattern. Your mind, so when your mind hears one, unconsciously, you did not have to think about it. It's already in your subconscious. Is somebody hearing me today? Now, pattern loops run the lives of most people on earth, but they don't know. They don't know. So they identify patterns and then they make conclusions. So, like I said, when you hear a number sequence, 2, 4, 6, 8, instinctively, you know what is next, isn't it? All right, I want you to check out these numbers. Let me write these numbers here for you. Are you ready for this one? Okay, so if you hear the numbers 2, 6, 2, 6, 42, 1,806, and then 3, 2, 6, 3, 4, 4, 2. What is next? Hello, everybody. What is next? All right. Let me break it down for you in the simplest. When you hear the number 2, I say, when I say 2, 4, 6, 8, you know what is next. So when I say 2, 6, 42, 1,806, is somebody hearing me today? Now, guess what? Let me break it down for you. The first number is 2. Multiply 2 by itself, 2 times 2, that's 4. Then add 2 to it, you get 6. Then the next number is 6. Multiply 6 by itself, 6 times 6, 36. And then add 6 to it, you get 42. Multiply 42 by itself, 42 times 42. That's 1,764. Add 42 to it, you get 1,806. Multiply 1,806 by itself, all right? And then add 1,806 to it, you get 3 million. Do you know what we have just shown? What's the moral of this exercise? The fact that you did not see the pattern does not mean a pattern did not exist. The fact that you did not see it does not mean it doesn't exist or can't be created. Now, many people in life give up at the point when they are faced with a situation for which they see no familiar pattern. Did you get it? When they see no familiar pattern, they give up. And they say, oh no, that's beyond me. Oh, that's not my stuff. They see a pattern, listen, that is not logical to them. Or let me put it this way, it does not make sense. All right, they discard it. How many of you will admit to times in your life when you saw a pattern that didn't make, you saw some figures or some scenario, forget numbers now, you see a scenario that did not make sense to you and you discarded it? Anybody? And then later on, you now hear that somebody, that same scenario, somebody confronted it and they broke through. Is somebody hearing me today? Now, so when we see things that don't make sense, our natural inclination is to toss it out. All right? But the key to win, and where this creative thinking comes in, is the ability to make sense out of nonsense. Is somebody hearing me? to make sense out of nonsense, even the nonsense we're seeing around us. Many people give up at the point when faced with a situation for which they see no familiar pattern. Because we have been schooled and programmed for logic. We have been schooled and programmed for all things being equal. We have been schooled and programmed for the predictable. Now, let me throw a note of caution, though. Don't throw away logic, because logic has saved lives. Let's look at the medical profession. You go to a doctor. When you get to the hospital, to the doctor, what does the doctor do? He doesn't just start treating you. He will ask you questions. What is he trying to establish? A pattern. He's trying to establish a pattern. Once he's established a pattern through that diagnosis, once he establishes the pattern, then he can make a diagnosis and then a prescription. Where else do we see logic playing heavily? Criminology. So if you watch some of these things, you realize that they say this crime has a particular pattern. Because of this pattern, we're able to narrow down to this kind of person. And a lot has been, a lot of crimes have been solved that way. Behavioral psychologists, they, look at a pattern and they're able to come up with a diagnosis, as it were, because of the pattern. All right? But you know what? In all these examples we've talked about, guess what? When the patterns defy known logic, they bring in an expert. Who is that expert? That expert is somebody who is able to operate outside the box of that particular logic. Is somebody hearing me? There are two very old shows on television. One is called Monk. Anybody watched Monk before, the detective? And another one similar, old, in the 60s and the 70s, it's called Columbo. All right? Now, these guys, and I love watching them. They're on Amazon Prime. They're there. You can go check it out. These guys are great detectives because they are not bound by logic. So there's a death, everybody looks at the evidence that is there and they conclude, oh, this was an accident, based on the logical patterns and the evidence. But these guys will probe further, ask certain questions, look at things that others are not looking at, and they are proven correct. Okay? So where are we going with this? Logical thinkers, logical thinking produces very great academicians. All right? Very great academicians and A students. Because what is required for that is to master the art of staying within the box of instructions you have been given. That's logical thinking. Creative thinkers, on the other hand, are considered to be inattentive students. Many of them, at some point, were diagnosed with attention deficit disorder, restlessness, lack of concentration, and all that. Okay? So, with that mindset, let's now take this thinking a bit further, because I'm going to give you some personal evaluation tests to do today to evaluate yourself. I went to the animal orphanage in Nairobi many years ago, about 14, 15 years ago. And I took a picture. My son and I were in the cage with a cheetah. Any one of you done that at the animal orphanage? Went into the cage, took pictures, patting the cheetah. Okay? Now I put those pictures up. Everybody freaked out that, are you crazy? What are you doing in there? But you see, it brought home. Oh, I can actually share that picture with you if you want to see it. If you don't believe it, it's just that I looked very different. I looked very, very different that time. Let me show you the picture. You want to see it? Let me show you that picture. Just hold on. Look at that. Look at that. That was, I think, about 14 years ago. All right. So went in there and I learned, and there was one behind us. Yes, you see, there's one behind us. Of course, you know that there's no way the mother of the boy could be there and allow me to do that. The mother of the boy could never, see how, anyway, so listen. I learned a powerful lesson that day about programming, okay? Programming. And let me break it down to you, all right? It taught me programming like nothing else has done. Now, these animals, I was told by the guys taking care of them, they have been raised in a controlled environment. They have never been in the wild. The only life they know is one of being fed by humans. They've never had to hunt. So I remember in a conversation with one of the guys there, he told me that there have been times when those animals were released into the wild and they could not survive. You know why? Even though they are wild animals, they could not survive. They tried to release some of them. Listen, they didn't know how to hunt. They began to look for human beings who could feed them. Now, the humans on their own side have been programmed that this is a wild animal. So they end up killing them. Can you see a classic case of programming? The cheetah has been programmed, the humans have been programmed. And this is the core of creative thinking. It's breaking out of the programming that has dominated our lives. It's coming out of that programming. We have all been programmed. All our life, we have all been programmed. That's a very popular story. And if you've listened to me just a few times, I've told this story of this lady who noticed that her mother, anytime she's cooking fish, will cut the head and cut the tail of the fish, and began to wonder. And one day asked her mom, why do you cut the head? Why do you cut the tail? And the mother said, my mother used to do it like that. She asked her grandmother, Grandma, why do you cut the head, cut the tail? Said, my mother used to do it like that. So she asked the old woman, why do you cut the head and why did you used to cut the tail? Now your children are doing that. And the old woman smiled and said, my pot was too small. Did you hear that? Because of a pot that was too small, how many years ago? Think of the economic value of the head and the tail of a fish. Think of that. Grace, correct. You're correct with that comment. Think of the economic value And let me tell you something, building on what Grace said, that the Gen Z have done that. They've broken patterns in Kenya. You know what? Now that they've done that, you see, once a pattern has been broken or a record has been broken, it becomes easier and easier and easier for others to break it. All right, so cut the head, cut the tail for 3 generations. And I'm asking you today, what are the things you are doing that you don't even realize that you are living out a program? Is somebody hearing me today? There's also the story, very popular story, and I've shared it and others have shared it, about this experiment where they have piranha fish in an aquarium and they put a glass divider and the food is on one side, and the piranha, each time it hits the divider trying to get its food, it hits the divider, it goes back. And it did that consistently for a period of time. Afterwards, they removed the divider. Anytime the piranha got to where the divider used to be, it would turn back. It had been programmed. And the piranha died with its food in that same place. Is somebody hearing me today? So, what loop or what program is running your life today? What loop or what program? We will now go into a series of self-evaluation, exercises. I want you to be brutally honest with yourself, because this is the only way you can move forward. So you're going to be brutally honest with yourself. And the first thing we're going to examine is your core beliefs. All right? We want to uncover deep-seated beliefs that influence your decision-making. All right? Now, and you write this, have a notebook or something to write this. It's for you. It's not for public consumption. It's for you. I want you to list, just write this down and think about it after. What are your beliefs about success? All right? What are your beliefs about success? What are your beliefs about failure? What are your beliefs about creativity? Okay? That's the first thing. Then the next set of questions, which of the following best describes you and your belief system? I hope everybody is listening and taking notes. Which of the following best describes you and your belief system? When things happen, you say, well, that's just how I am. Or, this is what I have become. So which of the two do you subscribe to? That's how I am. Or, this is what I've become. All right. Then the next, which of the following statements do you subscribe to? Which of the following statements do you subscribe to? You can learn new things, but you cannot really change how intelligent you are. You can learn new things, but you cannot really change how intelligent you are. Or you can always substantially change how intelligent you are. Which of the two do you subscribe to? You can learn new things, but you can't change how intelligent you are. Or you can always substantially change how intelligent you are. Which of those two do you subscribe to? Then the next set of self-evaluation questions: which of the following best describes your beliefs? Number one, I'm not creative. Whichever one describes you, you can just tick it, even if it is all of them. I'm not creative. I don't have enough time. I am not good enough. I am not confident. I've been negatively affected by my background. And then you talk about somebody else. Let's call him John Bull. John Bull is very successful because he is so lucky. So I want you to just tick whichever ones you subscribe to. And if it's all of them, not a problem. Okay? Now, then, so let's just go. Let me just help you here. Okay? Let me just help you here. If you answered, this is just how I am. Okay? This is just how I am. That's what is called a fixed mindset. And you have come to that conclusion based on patterns. But the truth is, in reality, it is who you've become because of the things you are exposed to. That means if you change what you're exposed to, you can become something else. All right? If you say you can learn new things, but you can't really change how intelligent you are, that's another lie that has been perpetuated over and over. That some people are intelligent, others are not intelligent. And if, unfortunately, you went to a school where the teacher said you are not intelligent, many people hold on to that. There's a book. I'm going to share some books with you that I want you, if you can get your hands on them. This one is called Smart Thinking. Smart Thinking. And there's a powerful story in here about a guy. He's called William Shockley. All right. When he was in school, they were doing IQ test to find out the kids with the highest IQ. You know what? He was not selected. His IQ didn't make it. Now, over the years, they monitored all those kids. Thank you. It's by Art Markman. Art Markman. Smart Thinking by Art Markman. Okay. So guess what? This guy, he did not make the list of the bright people in the class. But years down the line, all those who made the list lived ordinary lives, and William Shockley went on to win a Nobel Prize. Is somebody hearing me today? You know, he refused to live the program that he was supposed to live. And I think this is very, very, very important. All right? So you can always change how intelligent you are. I'm going to give you a whole lot of books that will help you. You can always change how intelligent you are. Don't believe the lie that, oh, this is your level of intelligence. That's a lie. Okay? That, oh, those are the brilliant ones. We are just the average. There's nothing like that. All right? And I'm talking, let me tell you one thing. Those who know me, I don't come and talk opinions. I come and give you data, fact. Anything I'm going to say, I will back it up. Then, if you said, I'm not creative, I can prove to you that you are selective. So that's a lie. You are selective. Because if you are faced with the right conditions, God forbid, somebody you love is not well and you need to do something, you'll be amazed at how creativity will come. Somebody hearing me today? So all these are lies. But you know where we got those lies from? We were programmed. And I'm going to show you how we're going to get out of that program. I've been a victim of that myself. All right? Then another activity I want you to do as part of your homework, track, get a notebook or so, track and analyze your spontaneous thoughts. Look, nothing reveals your true mindsets like your spontaneous thoughts. These are direct outbursts from your subconscious. It will tell you what you really believe. Let me tell you how powerful the subconscious is. One of my favorite books for that, I told you I'm going to give you it's called Habit. Why We Do What We Do in Life and Business by Charles Duhigg. All right, Habit by Charles Duhigg. And I hope I pronounced it well. Whatever. Now listen, there's a story in this book, talking of the subconscious, of a guy, listen, who lost his memory. It was so bad, he could not remember who his wife was. He could not remember who his children were. He lost his memory. But guess what? If you asked him, if he's sitting down, where is the kitchen? He doesn't know. Where is the fridge? He doesn't know. But you know what? Anytime he was hungry, he would get up, he would go into the fridge, open the fridge, make a sandwich for himself, and sit down and eat it. You know what had happened? He had done that same routine over and over and over and over. It had become a program. So he didn't have to think about it anymore. Is somebody hearing me today? He didn't have to think about it anymore. In this same book, it gives a story. Some of you remember that recently I read this story about Michael Phelps. Michael Phelps, the swimming champion, world record holder in Beijing. All right. And everything seemed okay, but stepped into the water, leapt into the water. Listen, he knew something was wrong as soon as he hit the water. There was a moisture inside his goggles. He couldn't tell if they were leaking from the top or bottom. But as he broke the water surface and began swimming, he hoped the leak wouldn't become too bad. By the second turn, however, everything was getting blurry. As he approached the third turn and final lap, the cups of his goggles were completely filled. He couldn't see anything. Not the line along the pool's bottom, not the black T marking the approaching wall. He couldn't see how many strokes were left. For most swimmers, losing your sight in the middle of an Olympic final will be cause for panic. Phelps was calm. Everything else that day had gone according to plan. The leaking goggles were a minor deviation, one for which he was prepared. His coach had once made him swim in a Michigan pool in the dark, believing he needed to be ready for any surprise. His coach will always tell him, play the videotapes. The videotapes, those are recalling things in his mind, programming. It featured problems like this. He had mentally rehearsed how he would respond to a goggle failure. As he started his last lap, Phelps estimated how many strokes the final push would require, 19 or 20, maybe 21. He started counting. He felt totally relaxed as he swam at full length, blind, full strength. Midway through the lap, he began to increase his effort, a final eruption that had become one of his main techniques in overwhelming opponents. At 18 strokes, he started anticipating the wall. He could hear the crowd roaring, but since he was blind, he had no idea whether they were cheering for him or someone else. 19 strokes, 20. He felt like he needed one more. That's what the videotape in his head said. He made a 21st huge stroke, glided with his arm outstretched, touched the wall. He had timed it perfectly. When he ripped off his goggles, he looked at the scoreboard. It said WR, world record, next to his name. He won another gold, swimming blind. After the race, the reporter asked what it had felt like to swim blind. He said, it felt like I imagined it would. Is somebody hearing me right now? He came out of a whole program. Oh, you can't swim if you're blinded, blah, blah, blah. But through programming that subconscious. So I want you to keep a journal, all the spontaneous thoughts you have, put those spontaneous thoughts there, all right? Especially the spontaneous thoughts you have in stressful situations. Begin to review the journal from time to time. You will begin to identify patterns and recurring themes. And these are the things that will reveal your true mindset to you. Is somebody hearing me? Then another thing you need to do, if you're going to break out of the box of logic, is you need to begin to challenge assumptions. Because there are so many assumptions people make. One healthy practice, and I wrote about this on LinkedIn, is to constantly pause and challenge your assumptions. It's easy to get to a point where you believe that your assumptions are the truth. And when you get to this point, you may find yourself acting on something with all your heart, with so much passion, yet you are acting on a lie. It cannot stand the test of time. So, very, very importantly, you need to pause. Question, why am I doing this? Why am I doing this? Many people go into business with assumptions. I've been there. All right? Many people start their journey with assumptions, and these assumptions are fueled with ignorance, sometimes with fantasies. All right? So, pause. It's so important to ask yourself. There's another book that would help you. Where is it? I got it here. It's called Start With Why. It's a very popular book by Simon Sinek. Start with why. Very, very important. Always ask yourself, why am I doing what I am doing? Why am I doing it this way? All right? Begin to audit your thought patterns, your thought process. Because you may find out that you are cutting off the head and tail of a fish. Begin to audit your thought process. Why am I doing it like this? All right? Very, very important. So, listen, we are programmable. We have been programmed, and we are continuously being programmed. We have been programmed. We are continuously being programmed. If your current programming is not taking you where you want to go, could it be you are running on an assumption? Could it be you are trapped in a logical thinking loop? Is somebody hearing me? So the question now, how programmable are you? Let me tell you something. And again, you can fact check this. If you pick any subject and you decide to study that subject and you read a book every week, listen, this study says in 10 years, you would have read 500 books and you will be in the top 1% of people in the world that are experts in that area of study. Did you hear what I said? So you want to, when I go into organizations and they want me to, talk about something, I've done this for so long. It's become second nature. Somebody hearing me today? It's become second nature. So I can do this without, oh my God, how do I prepare? How do I do this? If you will take any subject, and that means, let's say if you're a marketer, you read a book a week on marketing, in 10 years, you'll be the top 1% of marketers in the world. Now, it gets better. Artificial intelligence and the tools we have today have dramatically shortened the time frame. So you are programmed to get to where you are. You can be programmed out of it. And one key practice that has been proven over time as being the best programming tool over time. I've seen this. It's talked about among the Christians. It's talked about among the Hindus. It's talked about anywhere you see success is the practice of meditation. And I want to break meditation for you. 3 components. Speak it. Because every time you're hearing something, it's programming. So begin to speak where you are going, not what you are going through. Begin to speak. Then think it. Let images form. You're speaking. Let images form. Then begin to act it out. Little things, a step here in the direction of what you're saying, a step there. Continue doing that. You see, strategic thinking starts with mental programming. So you have to fill your mind with the right thing. You see, like I said, you're a victim of a program. So as you do these things, you are reprogramming yourself. And the questions you need to ask yourself now, and this is part of the self-evaluation. What are you reading? What are you watching? What are you saying? What are you listening to? I'll say that again. What are you reading? What are you watching? What are you saying? What are you listening to? Let me say that one more time. What are you reading? What are you watching? What are you saying? What are you listening to? Because whether you know it or not, these are the programming agents of your life. Until you change them to align with where you want to go, you will simply live out the existing program. And you will simply be going in that logic loop of the existing program. Is somebody hearing me today? So you need to do your personal audit. Creative thinking is very, very easy. You just have to program yourself by watching what you're reading, what you're watching, what you're saying, what you're listening to. I don't know if anybody has any questions. Please just post them either in the chat or in the Q&A. If you have any questions, while you're doing that, I want to, show you some books that have helped me a lot in this journey. All right. And if you can lay your hands on them, I promise you they will help you. Of course, like I said, so if you have any questions, put it as I show you the book. Like I said, this is a winner. All right. It's called The Power of Habit. Okay. Then I've thought of smart thinking. This is another fantastic one. If you can get your hand on it, it's called Mindset by Carol Dweck. Mindset, the new psychology of success. It's a fantastic book that talks about, different mindsets, the fixed mindset, the growth mindset. It will help you with that. Start with why. Then there's this incredible one. All right, Vicky, I will do that right now. I will do that right now. This book, oh my God, it's called The Obstacle is the Way. The Ancient Art of Turning Adversity into Advantage. It is, some of you are aware that the last few years I went through, some major challenges in my life that I'd never been through. But reading some of these things just helped. Oh my God. He says, just because your mind tells you something is awful or evil or unplanned or negative doesn't mean you have to agree. Because your mind is living out a program. Come on. It's an amazing one. It's an amazing one. Listen, the obstacle in the path becomes the path. Never forget, within every obstacle is an opportunity to improve our condition. This really helped me. Let me answer Vicky. So the first 3 questions: what's your core belief about success, failure, and creativity? All right. All right. Let me do that, Grace. Then there's another one. There's another book. I'm a bit apprehensive showing you that one. It is so big, This is it. It's called Mind is the Master. Mind is the Master. It is amazing. As a man thinketh, from poverty to power, the mastery. It is just, all right. So if you can get your hand on it, it is only, let me tell you, it is only about 900 pages. You can get your hand on it. Yeah. This will help you also. Okay. Then, one second. Then there are the books I have written on this area. Of course, this is called Creative Thinking. It's one of the best-selling ones that I have ever written. Then there is Help My Chocolate is Melting, which I wrote to deal with changes, managing change. There are 4 actually in this category. Then Mental Independence, How to Think Without Precedent. And then the latest of them, Mega Thinking for Mega Living. All right. All right. Thank you very much, Maxwell. Yes. Now, let me tell you about the Street University. And if you send me, you see, we have different courses. For instance, Creative Thinking is a 5-unit course. And what we have done with all our courses, we have made them very pocket-friendly. They're all online like this. It's a 5-unit course. It's 2,000 Kenya shillings per unit. So a 5-unit course will be 10,000 Kenya shillings. We have, so Maxwell, just reach out to me on LinkedIn. I will send you, and anybody who wants the entire course curriculum, I will send it to you. And you can select whatever courses you want to do, okay? Of course, this is the first of the creative thinking class, and that means you've already done 1 free. So there are 4 more modules for that if you would like to continue with that. So just let me know. I will send you the entire course curriculum for that. And let's change our thinking. Grace, there are so many of these books. What I'm going to do, I'm thinking of how I'm going to get them across to you. And there's sort of one, I put them here, these 100 ideas that change the world. You know, so I know what I will do. Right, let me put them on the chat. Yes. So I've got my PA here. My PA here. You don't need mine, these ones. Yes. So yes, absolutely, Ronnie. And one of the things, in fact, I call us the biggest incubator, because what we have done is that we have a lot of young people, a lot of people who, not just young people, I don't know if Jennifer is on the call right now. We have people who we have worked the journey with them, you know, from concept to the place where they're able to actually stand. Yes, Taiwo is writing the names of the books there. So there is, you know, the place where people can actually stand. Jennifer, hi Jennifer, you've been very quiet. Why don't you quickly just write about, Jennifer, can I bring you on as a speaker? Quickly, okay, you don't need, just talk. I'm just allowing you to talk. So just talk, Jennifer. Hello.
Hi, good evening, everyone.
Hi, Jennifer.
Hi.
Yes, Ronnie was asking if it's an incubator. So can you tell your story in 2 minutes?
Okay, this is the moment when I'm not prepared to speak, but I'll just say a few things. I met Doc when I was living in Dubai back in 2021, and I was preparing to come back home and start my business. So I started my journey with the Reimagine program, where I got to discover about myself, my strengths, and everything about Jennifer. So then 2 years later, I came to Kenya, and I've been able to start my business. I have my factory and I sell bottled water. And because I know Doc, his network has really helped me grow my business. So I think, Doc, I'll say those few words for now because I was not prepared. But
Thank you, Jennifer. Well, you know,
glad to be here.
Nobody needs to be prepared to talk about their own life, you know. But thank you. So I hope that answered the story, the question rather. So we serve as an incubator to help people. Like Jennifer said, we have another program called Reimagine Yourself, which is now a one-on-one coaching program. And some of our students have become CEOs. They own their own business. Some of them have become governors, name it. You know, one of my students, we took him through this whole program, and then I made him climb Mount Kilimanjaro. He said it was on the top of Kilimanjaro. He thought to himself, what? If I can make it up to this place, what can't I become? And he decided he was going to run for governor. And today he's the governor of his county. You know, so that's what we do. So we have the one-on-one. So guys, if you need information on any of these, just let me know. The full course curriculum for Street University, like I said, it's 2,000 shillings per module. We have courses on, let me tell you the courses we have. We have courses on, creative thinking, which we've just done one of the classes now. We have what we call the 3L, leaders leading leaders. That's for anyone, if your success depends on the ability of others to do their jobs without supervision, then that's for you. Because, you know, the mindset we have, you know, in Africa, unfortunately, is we glory in our followers. But the true mark of a distinctive leader and the greatest tribute to leaders is how many leaders you've been able to produce. So we have that course. That's a 4-unit course. We have the transformative leader. Transformation is not incremental change. It's a total metamorphosis from one form to another, like from an egg to a larva for a butterfly. And this is a course designed for any leader who wants to leave a legacy of mega proportions, you know, in the lives of people and in the organization. We have a course on leading disruption. We have a course on strategies for building winning teams, you know, and that you can bring your entire team or leadership. We've had companies that have brought their entire leadership teams or their entire sales team. 2 weeks ago, we were with the entire sales team of a bank. Then we have high impact communication, because, you know, of all the attributes a person can possess, the ability to communicate effectively is king. And high impact communication, that's a 6-unit course. Then we have one on entrepreneurship, separating myth from fact, you know, where entrepreneurship is concerned. We have making your ideas investor ready. We have another course from the brain to the bank, how to convert your ideas into revenue streams. We have a course called cross-cultural business, how to prepare your business to go international. That's a 4-unit course. You know, so we have all these courses. We have, for those who want to retire or who are going to retire in the next 10 years, future-proof your retirement, practical steps for a secure lifestyle. And then, very, very interesting. I have my team in Nairobi, in Kenya, my team in Lagos. They're all Gen Zs. They're young people. And I totally love working with them because they're the most brilliant things you can ever work with. You know, they are young, opinionated, but let me tell you, they push us. We would not be doing what we are doing without them. So we have a course called Harnessing Gen Z, Unlocking the Potential of a Transformative Generation in the Workplace. Then we have another course called Gen Z's Guide to Navigating the Corporate Landscape. You know, so if you have a lot of Gen Zs, you don't know how to deal with them, send them to us and we will help you train them, because in spite of their brilliance, some of them have not been able to thrive because they came in with idealistic perceptions and things like that. So we have loads of courses that I believe will be of benefit to you. All right. All right, Joseph, no problem. We'll reach out to you. Let me get that number. Christine or Sharon, if you are on, please take Joseph's number. Let me take Joseph's number. 0742-764688. So we'll reach out to you, Joseph. All right, guys. I hope you had a good time. So this is just the first part of this course. There are 4 more modules that will now break it down for you. If you're interested in that, just reach out to us on LinkedIn or on, online, or email rather. You can email me. I will love to hear from you. This is my email address right there. Okay. Or you can reach me on LinkedIn. And email will send you the whole package, what we have to offer. You can select your courses and we can get going. All right. So did you have a good time? Was it worth your time this evening? Hey, Ronnie, thank you. You all had a good time? Fantastic. Oh, fantastic. Thank you. Thank you so much. Joseph, thank you. All right. Catherine, it's so good to have you here again. It's been a while, eh? Christine, thank you. Ian, thank you. Susan, God bless all of you. So please be our ambassadors. Be our ambassadors. When you hear, and we're going to be having regular programs, so look out. We will send you emails, obviously, but be our ambassadors, okay? All right, guys, I hope you've enjoyed being here as much as I have enjoyed sharing with you. So watch out. We will have something else coming next week. It might be something totally different, but just keep coming and spread the word. Thank you so much for being here. God bless you and keep winning. Like I said, reach out. We have the Street University and we have the one-on-one coaching programs. And if you want any of my books also, let's know what you want. You can either get them from Nuria Books in Nairobi, or we can deliver to you, whichever one works for you. Thank you very much indeed. God bless you.